Well, this is week 7 in educational change and improvement. A big week because at the end of this week your first assessment task is due, which is quite a significant piece of work. So for that reason, not a lot of content this week, as I'm well aware you'll be heads down and working hard at that assessment task. The topic looks at system improvement, and there are some good examples around the world of where systems have put in circumstances, arrangements, policy environments that have led to fairly reasonable change and improvement in terms of student learning outcomes. Notably England, Ontario in Canada, and there's a fair amount of publishing around it. Hargraves, Fullen, Barber out of the UK, and there'll be a few of those readings this week for you to refer to. It's an interesting area really, because in my view much of the innovation and improvement comes from individual schools and school leaders that really transform the work that they do. And there's also plenty of examples that when that happens, what happens then is policy catches up, and then governments and systems then change policy environments to try and replicate those conditions. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not. Something I think I'm keenly interested in is the work that's done in the middle. So the work that networks and partnerships and the role of collaboration across professional associations or across districts or clusters of schools, where some real traction happens. So I think in terms of system improvement, there's an argument to say the policy environments, the external environments need to be set correctly. And they need to allow for the innovation and great work to happen in the school level, and for that to be shared. The work in the middle in sharing great practice is also important. In a course like this, where networks are made across systems and across a state and even across a nation, is an example of where those connections will be made and learnings will happen that can be transferable into other contexts. So we'll have a bit of a look at system improvement, mainly through a few readings, but in the back of my mind, and I'm sure in yours, I'm well aware that this will be a week concentrating on that first assessment task, that report into a school improvement initiative. In the weeks ahead, weeks 8 and 9, we start to have another look at, we'll revisit the idea of what's actually disrupting education, what's out there that we should be aware of, social and technological change. And then in the last few weeks, starting to align to assessment task 2, I keep using the word, we want to have some fun, but we're going to look at the innovation process, creativity, do a bit of futures thinking. What might our schools and education look like in the years ahead? So that's what's coming in as we lead into the end of this unit. So good luck with the assessment task. Be in touch if I can be of any assistance, and when you get a chance, have a look at the readings around this notion of how systems improve.